right, let's see how we looking. How we looking? How we looking? We looking good. We looking good. What's good, parents? What's good, students? Whoever's watching this, what's good? I hope everybody's doing all right. Happy Sunday. My name is Fred Johnson IV, Mr. I'm gonna graduate, your favorite college success coach, and welcome to College and Career Convos. I'm bringing this to you every Sunday. We talk about the topics that parents want to know about, the questions that parents have, those burning questions. We cover them. I try to make sure I go over topics that parents will get a lot of value from. Parents will get a lot of value from. A few things before we dig in, because tonight is a good one. Tonight is a good one. Before we dig in, I want to talk about a few things. One, you might have been wondering, like, say, man, we ain't been really seeing your content. We ain't really been seeing you push things out. Y'all had an issue with my phone. My phone broke. Kind of had to try to fix it on my own, and it was just time to get a new one. It was just time to get a new phone. So finally got a new phone. Tomorrow I'm going to be back to pushing out content every single day. I'm going to be back to putting out those daily newsletters. If you follow me on LinkedIn, like y'all, it's about to get real. Coming out with a few podcasts soon, y'all. I'm coming for everything this year. We taking over this year. Y'all going to see some tweaks to my content. I got some new content that I'm gonna be inserting. So we got some things. I got some things on the horizon. I'm excited. Give me y'all feedback though. I want to know if you like it. I want to know what you want to see. What questions you have. So definitely let me know. The other thing I of course have to let y'all know, y'all, author of Grind to Grad, the book is ready. The book is done. The book is 100% done. It is ready to hit the printers. I'll be sending an email tomorrow to get that first big batch of orders. So make sure y'all get this. Make sure y'all get this book. All right. It's going to change the game. One other thing is the Grind to Grad conference is going to be Saturday, February 4th, 4 p.m. Central Time. It's going to be a virtual conference. It's going to be a great conference for students, great conference for parents, a great conference for high school or college administrators. I'm going to be talking about those things that students run into, parents run into, that prevent them from getting to college and prevent them from graduating college. I'm gonna cover all of it. I'm gonna cover all of it. And the best thing is free. It is a free conference. So there's no reason why people shouldn't be able to sign up. Look, this is something you're gonna want to make yourself available for. You're gonna want to make time to tap into this conference. So the link gonna drop tomorrow. The link is going to drop tomorrow. So make sure you pay attention for my posts, pay attention for my content that'll start back up tomorrow because the link for the conference will drop tomorrow. So I'm excited, y'all. I'm moving, I'm shaking, I'm getting a lot of stuff done. All right, let's get to tonight's topic. Let's get to tonight's topic. We're gonna talk about, I got my notes right here. We're gonna talk about how to make sure you can help your child to raise their ACT or the SAT score. We know that's coming up soon. We know they got a few more at bats, right? They got a few more attempts. Make sure I got my water. Few more attempts. These count, right? So if they're a senior, they got a few more attempts, right? Of course, if they're a junior, they're probably just getting their first swing at it, second swing at it, but that's okay. If you could even start taking it earlier than that, taking practice tests earlier than that, the earlier the better. But this is specifically for those parents, those students who want to raise their score, right? Maybe you got a score and you're like, I'm good where I'm at. This is only for people, students, parents who want to get that score up, who want to raise their score up. So make sure you got a pen, make sure you got paper ready to go because I'm going to be giving you some gems on how to raise that score. So let's dig into it. So I wanted to break this down into 3 phases, right? I kind of think of the study cycle is not just when you're sitting down trying to memorize information. The study cycle is a process. There's things that you do before class. There's things that you do during class. There's things that you do after class. There's things that you do before, during, and after a test to be successful. And so it's the same thing with the ACT, SAT. It's just a standardized test, right? It's a standardized test. So there's certain things you want to do before. There's certain things you want to do right leading up to the test, right? Day before, leading right up to the test, and then when you're in that thing, when you're taking the test. So we're gonna kind of break down 3 of those phases. So before the test, right? We're talking about as far in advance as you can. Here's some things you're gonna want to make sure you want to do. If you want to raise your score, if you're serious about raising your score, and actually before I even dig into this, I just had a thought I wanted to share. Mindset is everything. Mindset is everything. I know people. I kind of took the wind out of the sails a little bit. It's like, look, give us the nuggets, give us the gems. Mindset is everything. Mindset. If you have the right mindset, is going to lead to the right behaviors. If you have the right behaviors, it's going to lead to the right routines and structures. And if you got the right routines and structures, that's going to lead to results. And then that process just repeats itself. And so it's important that you and your student, you have the mindset, whatever score you want to achieve, you have to claim that right now. You already have that score. You already have that score. You believe if I'm shooting for a 36, that I already have the 36. If I'm shooting for a 25, I already have the 25. You have to visualize that you already have it. It's already in hand. Now you're just trying to move throughout the world to figure out how to go from where you are to where you want to be. It's all about mindset. You have to claim that you're going to get it. Claim that you're going to get it. And it'll be revealed to you. I'm spiritual. So I know that God will reveal to you exactly what you need to do. I'm going to give you some nuggets tonight, but you have to believe that the score that you want is already possible and you already have it. That's part of it. You have, if you think you're not a good test taker, you have to change that narrative. You are a good test taker. You're a great test taker. You have to keep and it's not fake it till you make it, right? You can work toward that. You can grow toward that, but you have to tell yourself, whatever you want to be, you have to tell yourself that you're already that person. You're already that version of yourself. And now you're just moving throughout the world to get there. All right, that's the mindset piece. That's the mindset piece. I'm gonna get to the nuts and bolts. So before the test, right? Before the test, and as far in advance as you can, something that is really going to help your child and your student to raise their grade is they got to increase their vocabulary. They got to increase their vocabulary, right? The more words you know, you might not know what everything means, but the more words you know, you can kind of use context clues to figure things out, right? And of course, this will particularly be helpful in that reading comprehension section, right? Those sections, the science section, really any of the sections, is all reading, right? Reading is going to elevate. Being able to increase that vocabulary is gonna do wonders. So get flashcards, learn a new word of the day. If you really want to go next level, and this was a class I loved in high school, right? I'm sure you can find some kind of free service or free something on Khan Academy or YouTube where they teach you learn Latin. Learn Latin. Start to learn the prefixes. Start to learn the suffixes. Start to learn the roots, right? Start to learn those things. And that way, even if you don't know a word, you'll be able to kind of pick apart and be like, well, I see the prefix, I see the suffix, I kind of put this thing together. I know what this word means. Maybe I can figure out what that word means. Latin is going to help you really elevate your vocabulary, your ability to kind of decipher what things mean. So get that vocabulary up, start getting some flashcards. You can find ACT and SAT flashcards everywhere, right? Get a set, invest in a set. I'm sure you can find a free set online if you don't want to pay for it, and start to learn Latin. Get that vocabulary up, just get that knowledge base up of different words. That is going to help you. It's been proven time and time again. You can look at any data where if the higher the reading score is for a student, the higher their reading level, the better they tend to perform on standardized tests. Period. That's probably the number one thing I tell you to do. If you have very little time to prepare, that would be one of the biggest strategies I think you should do. Get your vocab up, get that Latin up, right? That I would say that's a huge chunk. That's not everything, right? But you will definitely want to spend a huge chunk of time there. The other place where you want to make sure you go, right, is take practice tests. And look, they don't have to be full-length practice tests, but take practice tests. You can find them on ACT, SAT, College Board. There's a bunch of free resources. You can just Google old copies of the ACT and SAT, print them out, time yourself, test yourself, take practice. Take practice tests. Take practice test. The not the joy, but the gold and the value in taking a practice test is twofold, right? One, you're gonna be able to assess where am I strong, where am I weak, where do I need to improve, where do I need to spend the most time studying. If you're already really good in reading comprehension, you don't need to spend any time studying reading comprehension. If you're already good at math, you don't need to spend much time studying math. Taking a practice test will help you not only figure out the section you're weakest in, but it will also help you kind of figure out what's the specific content that I need to work on, right? Is it the specific subject in algebra that I need to get better at? Is it this specific concept in science? Is it this specific skill in the reading comprehension section? Maybe you notice on science in math, maybe you really struggle with graphs. So I got to put in work to get to know these graphs. Let me look up all of these types of problems and let me figure out what am I doing wrong and how can I do it right. So the practice test not only helps you figure out what section to focus on, it helps you to focus on and figure out what's the specific skill that I need to grow in. The second thing that the practice test will allow you to do is it allows you to mimic the anxiety that will be experienced when you have a time test. And I don't want to throw that word anxiety out there like you're freaking out, but there's pressure associated when you have to take a time test. Maybe you got 60 questions and you got to do it in 40 minutes, or 80 questions, 80 minutes, right? Whatever the case might be, you want to simulate that. You want to understand what that pressure feels like so your brain can work under pressure. It's almost like basketball players or athletes. You want to make sure you practice not only at game speed, but you want to practice game situations. You want to, as a football player, right? You want to practice situational football. Because when it comes up in the game, you want your brain to be used to always thinking about down and distance. Down and distance. It's the same for anybody that performs. When you perform, you practice the way you want to perform. You can't just turn it on the night of the performance, the day of the performance. You have to practice how you want to perform. It's the same thing with these tests. The practice test, or taking a practice test, allows you to simulate how you want to perform. You get to learn, like, do I spend too much time on a certain section? Am I using certain strategies the right way? You really get to see, how do I refine my game so that I'm maximizing how efficiently I'm moving throughout this test. So that's why you want to take a practice test. Take as many practice tests as you can find online. There's a bunch of free ones. Go ahead and find them online. All right, make sure you go ahead and find those. So we got the vocab, we got the practice test. And then after you have that, right, now you just got to get your skills up. Now that you know exactly what you need to do, spend a lot of time just building skill. Again, if reading comprehension is the area where you need to get better at, just focus on reading comprehension. If it's math, focus on math. And I know this sounds like, well, duh, I knew that. But here's the key. You can know all of these things, but if you don't set aside time to do it, that's the other part. You have to create a plan from now through when you plan on taking that test. How many hours a week are you going to spend working on this? What days during that week? What times? What skills? You got to create a plan for how you're going to prepare for the SAT or ACT. You don't want to have this haphazard or just this throw spaghetti at the wall approach. You want to be very strategic in how you are preparing for this test. So that's the other tip. You got to make sure, parents, you got to help your child create a plan. What days am I studying? What am I studying? What am I good at? Where do I need to improve? Right? And understand that the key is getting answers right? You want to make sure you get, obviously, right, get them right. But the key is not speed. The key is not to get through the test quickly. You don't get more points for finishing faster. You want to make sure you get as many right as possible. And so by doing that practice, by getting those reps in, you want to get to a point, honestly, you got it when you don't have to think about what to do. It's like seamless. Here's where I go. I go here. I go here next. Right? This multi-step problem. When you really take the thinking out of it and you're able to really flow through a test, that's how you know you got it. If you're still like start, stop when it comes to these, and you're really, you can feel those wheels spinning, you ain't got it yet. You ain't got it yet. If that's what you feel as you're preparing for this test. So in terms of before, you got to get your vocab up. You got to do practice tests, as many as you can squeeze in, right? Then you got to practice those specific skills in the areas where you're weakest or the areas where you really need to work on the most. And then you got to have a plan. You got to create a plan. You have to create a plan, and you got to have the mindset. You got to have that goal, and you got to have the mindset. All right, let's talk about the day before the test. What are we doing the day before the test? This is important. This is important because if you're scrambling the day before the test, you're gonna go in all jacked up. You're not gonna go in with the right mindset. You're not gonna go in with the attitude that you want to go in with. Right? You want to be calm, cool, collected. There's always going to be some nervousness, and that's okay. It's okay to have some nervousness, but you want to go into that test confident. You want to go into that test calm, right? And you want to go into that test prepared and ready. That's what you want to be able to do. All right. And so, what do you need to do to be able to do that? Again, some of these things you might have heard before, but we're going to dig a little bit deeper. So, on the test day, right? We talking about that morning of, night before. You want to make sure that night before you eat a good, you eat a nice hearty meal. The morning of, eat a nice healthy breakfast, right? Nothing too heavy. You want to keep it relatively light, but you want to make sure you eat. When they talk about brain food, that is real. It takes calories to think. It takes calories to think, and so you're going to be thinking a lot during this test. It's a long test, right? And so you want to make sure you have the energy to withstand getting through that whole test from beginning to end. All right, from beginning to end. Got to make sure I look at my notes. I want to make sure I don't forget anything. All right. You also want to make sure you lay out. I know again this sounds lay out all your clothes. What you wearing tomorrow? Just lay it out. So that way you don't have to think about what socks am I wearing, what shoes am I wearing, and pick something that's comfortable. Right? Pick something that's comfortable. Get all that picked out the night before. Get the shoes, have the bag ready, have your supplies ready. If you need your pencil, you need your ID, you need a calculator, right? You need certain things, whatever, you need your ticket. Get all that prepared the night before. Do not wait till the morning of thinking, I'm gonna just get up early and I'm gonna get it right, I'm gonna get it ready. No, no. Do that all the night before. And it's not even going to take you that long. I know a lot of people, if you're like me, it's very easy to put off things that are easy to do. But as Jim Rohn said, things that are easy to do are also easy not to do. Or maybe it was Zig Ziglar, one of them. If it's easy to do, it's also easy not to do. So make sure that you take time, get organized, set it up, set out your clothes, pick something that comfortable because you're going to be sitting for a while, right? Something you could be comfortable in. You never know how cold that building is, right? If it's at your high school, you probably have an idea of how cold it is in a building. But if you're taking it at a different site, you want to make sure you dress warm, or you bring something, right? You bring a jacket, you bring something, because nothing worse than being in a cold room and hopefully it's not hot or warm in the room, right? But you want to be able to bring some clothes that are breathable, some clothes that are warm, some things you could just kind of sit on the side. Bring some snacks. Make sure you bring some snacks. Again, some light snacks. Bring a sandwich, something that's going to help to sustain you. Y'all will get breaks. But make sure you have some healthy snacks there. Again, you almost want to think of this like a race. Not that you're trying to speed it through, but marathoners, they do a lot to prepare the night before, and then during the actual race, right before the race, they do some things to prepare and get their body ready and get their mind ready, because they know they're going to need it during the race. During the race. Here's another tip that morning of, or as you enter. Make sure you find a seat where you're going to be far away from distraction. Right? Get a seat as far away from the entrance as possible. So you want to make sure you show up early. You do not want to be showing up late. You don't want to be showing up. Get there early. If the doors open at 7, y'all get in line for 6:30, 6:15 if you're crazy, right? 6 o'clock. But I would say at least get there about 30 minutes early. 30 minutes early. You want to be able to get a prime seat, a prime location, away from distraction, as far away from those doors as possible, right? Because people might be getting up, using the restroom, right? There might be a air conditioner that makes a certain sound, or somebody that's tapping their, I don't know, like get as far away from that entrance as you can, right? And if you are close to the entrance, it's okay. It's gonna be all right. But you wanna make sure if you could get there early, you could get that prime real estate. Location, 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 right? You can make sure you get that prime real estate. Something else you're going to want to make sure you're doing. Again, y'all might know a lot of this stuff, but I'm trying to dig a little bit deeper into the why, so you know why these are important. Stick out a little bit more in your head. Wear an analog watch or a regular watch, right? I don't think they let y'all bring the Apple watches or any of that stuff in there, right? They want to make sure everything's on the up and up. Just go get a little Timex watch from Target, from Walmart, from Dollar Tree. Just get a little watch, a little regular watch, because that's going to help you keep pacing. There may or may not be clocks in the room. Or if there is a clock in the room, there's no telling based on where you're going to be sitting if it's going to be easily visible. So when you have that, right? When you have that timer, or when you have that watch, you'll be able to tell, okay, here's how much time I have. All right, it starts at this time, ends at this time. I got this many questions. So that means about every 5 minutes, I need to be getting X number of questions done. That is going to save you so much time and stress because you know you're pacing. You know generally how quickly you have to move, right? So I'll choose an easy example. If you got 50 questions and you got 60 minutes to do them, you know you have a little bit over a minute per question. So every 5 minutes, you should be getting at least 5 questions done, right? And then you can calculate that. And the good thing about the ACT is the number of questions are going to be the same. So all this stuff you can calculate. You know the number of questions in each section, and you know the timing for each section. So you can have all this stuff way ahead of time and know, all right, this section, this many questions. Here's the timer. Here's what I need to do. Here's how quickly I need to move. And then again, when you pair that with the practice test, you don't even have to take a full test, right? Maybe you take a section. Maybe you take a piece of a section and you say, okay, great. I know my general timing has to be, again, using this as an example, 1 minute per question. So I'll do a little quick, short practice test. I'll do these 10 math questions. Can I get through these 10 math questions in 10 minutes? Because that's going to let you know what you're doing. And you start that timer when you practice and you cut that timer off and you see how you did. You want to feel that pressure. You want to feel that anxiety. You want to feel that pressure that comes with it being a time test. All right. These are all things that you want to incorporate into your plan. The more in advance you can do it, the better. The better. All right. Now let's talk about when you're actually in that test, right? Pencil is going, you're going, the pencil is in that, you're in that test. You're taking the test. What do you do then? What do you do then? Got to make sure I get y'all everything. Got to make sure I get y'all everything. Again, sounds simple. Sounds simple, but make sure that you read the directions and you read the questions. Sometimes students are so caught up trying to get through the test quick that they forget key pieces of the question or directions. Make sure that you take your time reading through that. Again, what's easy to do is also easy not to do. And you, by missing one major or key piece of a question, you're going to get the question wrong because you're thinking it's asking you for one thing and it's asking you for something else. So you got to make sure you practice reading these questions, reading these directions, and make sure you take that 20 seconds, 30 seconds, 10 seconds to understand, like, do I understand what this is asking? Now, the good thing about the practice test, at least early on, right, is because the areas where you want to focus on building skill, focus on getting it right first. I would say if it's an area where you really struggle, don't even consider the time factor yet. Don't start timing yourself. Make sure you actually take your time. Am I reading this? Am I breaking it down? Am I understanding the keywords? Am I understanding what it's asking me to do? That's what you want to do. All right. And then as you get closer to the test, you can time yourself, right? You can test for that accuracy under that pressure of time. But early on, You just want to make sure, do I understand what I'm doing? Do I understand what this test is asking me to do? Do I understand those things? So you can pace yourself with this. Y'all got time? Y'all got time for the next test. So you got to read those directions. Read them carefully. All right. This is another one. Another one. Everybody knows it, but people don't do it. People don't do it. What you want to do is the questions that you know, run through those first. If a question is taking more than 15 or 20 seconds, 30 seconds for you to, and you'll kind of say, it's almost like a quarterback in the pocket. You know when you get to 1, 2, you know when you get to 4 seconds, you got to let that thing go. You cannot stay in the pocket more than 3 or 4 seconds. It's the same thing. As you take more practice reps, you're going to get an idea of like, I'm taking too long on this. I need to keep moving. So actually, it should come automatic. For the ones that you know, you read the question, you read the multiple choice, boom, this one, right? What you could also do is, even if you don't know the answer, you probably can eliminate one or more of the choices. You can probably eliminate one or more of the choices, right? You can eliminate one or more of the choices. So what you want to do as you're moving through that test, if you know it, bang, get it, move to the next one. Focus on the ones that you know first. But as you're going through the test, you get to when you're like, I know it's not this one. Let me go to the next one. All right. Yep, I got this one. I have no idea what this is. And make sure you annotate, right? If it's ones that you don't know, make sure you can put a question mark next to it, right? It's like, I have no idea. You can cross out. That booklet is like scratch paper. You can write all over that booklet. Don't keep it neat. That notebook should be nice. That booklet should be nice and dirty by the time you're done with it, because you're writing notes, you're writing what's in your head, you're writing everything out. Okay, you're writing all that out. Use all of it. Use all of that white space. Use all of that space that you have. Okay, but you want to make sure you move through at least that first pass. Move through it. I won't say with relative quickness, but what you know, great. What you don't know, skip it. I know that's wrong, cool, mark that, and then come back. Now the key is going to be making sure that you don't start bubbling in and then stuff gets all thrown off, right? That's what you don't want to do. Just do it in the booklet first. Get a clean sweep in the booklet first, and then you can use those last 10 minutes to bubble everything in, right? You don't have to be like, oh, I got it right, bubble it in. I got it right, bubble it in. You want to kind of do it in batches. So answer everything in the booklet first, right? And make sure you're not like circling something and trying to erase and then circling something else and then you erase it again. It's like, oh, which one did I choose? So it only go with the ones that you're sure with the first round, right? Then you go back and as you're going through again, if you don't know it, you skip it. If you kind of have an idea, you could cross out one, go with that, but use that book, tear that book up. That book should be full of eraser marks or full of writing and notation, full of underlining. You can go with all that. All right. Make sure that you do all of that. I kind of gave y'all all of those at one point. So I got a couple more for you. I usually like to keep these around 30 minutes. So another thing you got to do, and this kind of comes back to mindset, is there could be different points during the test where you're going to feel anxiety. There's going to be different points during the test where you start to feel that pressure. The thing that you're going to have to do is take a deep breath. Make sure you tell your child, breathe. And again, practice doing all this stuff I'm telling you. You got to practice doing it. It ain't going to just happen the day of the test. Practice doing these things. If you practice doing it, it's going to be second nature once you get there. So you got to practice that. That's like a self-management technique. When you start to feel that, just take a deep breath. And then what I want you to do is write an affirmation in your book. Write an affirmation. I am going to get a 36 on this test. I am a great test taker. I know every single answer on this test. Because when you fill your mind with those thoughts, your brain is going to figure out the rest. Your intuition is going to figure out the rest. But mindset, that positivity, That's why it's so important. Breathe, get yourself back to a calm state, get that equilibrium back, write those effort. And look, that only takes 15 seconds. It's not like this is going to eat up a ton of time. I'm a great test taker. Boom, then get back to work. And as often as you need to do that throughout the test, it's going to be worth it because it's going to recenter you. It's going to get you back to a place where you can be productive and where you could be effective and efficient. That's what you want. That's what you want. And then the last tip I got for you is make sure you maximize all the time on the test. Use all the time. Even if you finish early, go back, just double check your answers, double check that things are bulleted. Don't second guess yourself. Always go with your first gut, because oftentimes what happens is you go back and you're like, oh, I don't know, I'm gonna change that answer. And you think it, whatever you put the first time, go with that. Now, of course, if there are any way you're debating between this answer and this answer, you want to go back and figure out the answer. But whatever your gut, your initial gut instinct says, and whatever you say on that first pass, leave that. Leave that. Take that. Right? Take that. One other tip, and this is one that just popped in my head. One other tip that you wanna make sure you do is, there's a strategy with at least with the ACT. I work more with students with the ACT. I'm here in the South in New Orleans, and so we take the ACT down here. But I know in other parts of the country, the SAT is the primary standardized test that people take. At least with the ACT, right? Of course, your composite score is what's used to give you scholarships, right? So if you're using, if you don't yet have the composite score to get the scholarship you want, then you need to make sure you do well on every section of that test that you're taking, right? You need to make sure you put your best effort for every single test. For some of you that just need the English or just need the math, right? They take the super score. Then you just need to really, if you know, all right, I already got the English, I just need to improve in one section, I just need to improve in this section, then you just really put all your eggs in that basket of that section. Right now, again, every time you want to take your best swing at every section, right? You don't want to sleep on any section in particular, but what you do want to make sure you do is work hard and not smarter. And so if it's just a particular section that you need to raise your score in, then you're really just focusing on that section, right? You're really just focusing on that section, but you still want to do well in the other sections as well. So those are the tips that I have for you. I hope that helps. If there was any value that you got, I just want you to comment under this. What is the part of this that you didn't know before, or something that was emphasized that you're really going to make sure you focus on this time around? I want y'all to let me know in the comments what part of what you heard or what you listened to really resonated with you, and which strategy are you going to try? Which one of those are you going to make sure you elevate and prioritize over the next month or so as you're getting ready? Parents, what's the one that maybe you have the most questions about? What's the one you know your kids struggle the most with? What are you going to focus with them on? And again, gotta just plug two things real quick. The book Grind to Grad is out, right? It is out. You can go to the link in my bio on Instagram at Fred Johnson the fourth, all one word on Instagram. You can find the link in my bio. You can also go to tinyurl.com/buy Grind to Grad book. tinyurl.com/buy Grind to Grad book to get your copy. Y'all, the conference is going to be everything. I'm putting everything into this conference. And so I want you to, the information is going to drop tomorrow. The conference link is going to drop tomorrow. I want you to go ahead and get that. All right. I want you to go ahead and follow me. Turn on the notifications. Getting tongue tied. Turn on the notifications. And I'm going to see y'all there. Have a good night.